Hi besties, welcome back to my channel. This is gonna be my last video of 2023, and I figured it would be perfect to do a video about 2024. I wanted to do the 24 books I want to read in 2024. I'm also journaling this year, so if you want any like journaling videos, let me know because I can post some of that too. I do have some spreads set up for like 2024, but 24 books I want to read in 2024. And these are like 24 books off my physical TBR, so this isn't counting any new releases that are happening this year. And I kind of just want to rapid fire go through them, kind of talk about them a little bit, why I chose them, or if I just randomly threw them on there. I'll just go from like the books I have. And first up, I have Consider Me by Becca Mack. This is a hockey romance, and I'm actually doing a hockey January type of month. So I'm anticipating reading this in January, but this is one that I've been anticipating for so long and I want to read so bad. So as we go through this video, you'll probably see a lot of books that I've been anticipating. Hence why I put them on this, because I want to get to them and I want to read them. Hang on, we have Flawless. If you've seen my goals video for 2024, one of my goals is to read the entire backlist of Elsie Silver. She's coming out with a new book and a new series this year, so I want to read this entire series and then Off to the Races entire series. So what better way to start than with Flawless? This also is probably going to be anticipated for January, but definitely soon, if not January. Next up, I have Fire Falling. This is book 2 of the Air Awakens series. I read Air Awakens months ago, and I want to jump back into this world. I really liked it, and I want to read this, and I'm trying to finish series this year as well, and so I'm putting this on here to like force myself to read it and get back into this world and try to remember what happened in Air Awakens. We'll see. Next up, I have Bad Blood. This is the last book of the Natural series. I'm anticipating this one. I want to finish this series, so I threw this on here to make myself finish the series and really enjoy it. So not much to say about that one other than I want to finish it. I have Trial of the Sun Queen. This is book 1 of a fantasy series. This author I'm actually going to see at the end of 2024, so I'm trying to read this book and the next book, and then the third book comes out this year, all before I see her, so I can get them signed and like read them, know about the universe, maybe talk to her about them. So definitely anticipated before I go see her, so that is why this one's on this list. Next up, another author I'm seeing at the end of this year, The Curse of Saints. Actually, this one's a new one to my TBR. I just started watching some different fantasy girlies on BookTube, and this is a highly talked about one, so I wanted to throw this on here. I just recently got into fantasy romance books and I'm trying to broaden my horizon, so I wanted to throw this on here to give a little spice, a little different atmosphere. Next up, I have Queen Comes to Power. This is book 2 of this series. I just finished book 1 maybe 2 months ago. I really enjoyed this. I really am liking the writing. The world is absolutely stunning. I can't wait to continue this series. This one's highly anticipated because I love the first book. I think I gave it a 4.5 stars. So definitely excited to continue on this series and read this one. Next up, I've seen everywhere lately, but I have Red Rising. This one's been on my TBR for a long time. It's definitely intimidating to me, so that's why I wanted to put it on here to push myself to read it this year. It is a trilogy, and then there's like a spin-off series as well, but it's a sci-fi Hunger Games-esque type of book, which is right up my alley, so I really want to read it and I can't wait, and I am highly anticipating that. Next up, and it's another second book of a series, The Stolen Throne. This is book 2. I'm not sure book 3 is out. This one just came out this year. I read the first book. I really enjoyed the first book. It's a YA fantasy series, so I wanted to throw this on here. There is a common theme when both of these books are part of series, next books in series. I wanted to put them on there to kind of challenge myself to like read series this year. I really want to finish series because I'm in the middle of like probably 30, so I really want to challenge myself. I want to make myself pick up these series and read these series, and if I'm buying books, make sure I'm buying them buying parts of series rather than just new series. Next up, I have Good Game by Madison Fox. I just got this one. It's a video game romance. I'm so excited about this one. I wanted to throw this on here because a lot of these books on here are parts of series which are really intimidating. I wanted to throw some fluffy, fun ones on here that will really like help me achieve this goal and break up all of the series on here is book 2 of a series. It's Queen of Myth and Monsters. I read book 1, which is The King of Battle and Blood, this year. I really enjoyed it. I've heard mixed reviews about this one, so that's why I've kind of been on the back burner and not really reading it, but I do plan on reading it this year and I can't wait to read it. And I think the 3rd book's out, or it's coming out this year. Hopefully I'm right about that one. I have no idea. Next up, I have Zodiac Academy book 7. I think book 9 comes out this year, so I'm kind of a little behind on this. I'm currently reading 6 right now. I'm actually 30% through that one. It's taken me a long time, and I don't know if I'll finish it before this year, but if not, I'll finish it soon. But this one's definitely on my TBR because I do want to read them all the way up until 8, so that way I can be there for the release of 9 and kind of be in the hype of it and be excited for it and all of that good stuff. So definitely on my TBR, definitely going to be read soon. Another easy one that I know I'm going to read this year, so I wanted to put it on there so I can easily achieve this goal. Pick up all the romance fantasy. I put The Inmate by Freida McFadden. Freida McFadden has been one of my go-to authors last year. I still have some of her backlist I need to get through. The Inmate is definitely one of my anticipated one. It's like a prison cell one, and I love Prison Break, so I'm very excited about this one and I can't wait to read it. Next up, I have Hunting Adeline. This intimidates the heck out of me. I read the first one. I really enjoyed the first one. People say this one, the second one, is a lot darker and a lot more graphic and a lot more trigger warning, so that intimidates me because I'm not a trigger warning type of girly. I usually am okay for the most part, but heavy topics are heavy topics. I feel like they're triggering for anyone, so definitely intimidated by this one. Wanted to throw it on here though so I can finish the series and get it off my TBR and probably enjoy it. To finish another series, I have Redeemed by Lauren Asher. I've loved this series. I love the Dirty Air series. I've loved her Dreamlight series as well, and I've also loved the new one that she came out, Love Redesigned. I love that as well. I want to finish this book this year so I can be all caught up on Lauren Asher, all done with this series, another series checked off, so highly anticipated. Hopefully we'll read this really soon to get this done with. Next up, I have Sea of Ruin by Pam Goodwin. The reason I threw this on here, it's been on my TBR for so long, and I want to get it off my TBR. It's a fantasy romance. I'm highly anticipated it. I've never read a Pam Goodwin book, but I've seen them all over the place, so I'm hoping this one's good. It's a fantasy romance. That's all I really know. Next up, and this should be no surprise if you're not new to my social medias, but I'm gonna read Chain of Gold. I'm currently reading the Cassandra Clare universe. I read the Mortal Instruments this year in 2023, and then I've been reading short stories in between, and then this is the next trilogy I'm to read in the universe. So this whole trilogy should be on my 2024 anticipated, but this one for sure on my anticipated. Hopefully we'll get to it soon. Can't wait to dive back into this world. I've heard this trilogy is one of a fan favorites. So next up, I have One Dark Window. A lot of my mutuals have recently read this duology and said it's really good. It's a very dark gothic fantasy. There's a little bit of romance for a subplot. As I said before, I'm trying to, really dive into my fantasy era and read more fantasy and enjoy it and all that stuff. So highly anticipating this one, and I can't wait to read it. So I have 5 books left, and so the next one I have The Fever King. This was a gift to me 2 years ago. I'm trying to read all of the books that have been gifted to me over the years, so they don't sit on my shelves and I don't read them. This year I'm making it a priority. If I'm gifted any book, I'm gotta read it right away. It can't sit on my shelves. These people, my friends, are like giving me books and I need to read them so I can show them I appreciate them and I appreciate the book and everything. So The Fever King, it's YA fantasy romance, and I'm actually really excited. It sounds really good. Next up, I have Dear Ava. I don't know anything about this book at all. I actually thrifted this book. It looks really good. Can't wait to read it. The cover is so cute, and it's just a romance. That's all I have. Next up, I have Hush Hush. I actually want to read this book because I want to read her Off Balance series, which is a gymnastics romance series. I'm pretty sure. I really want to read them. I don't have them yet. I want to read Hush Hush by her to see if I like this author, if I like the writing, if I like the book. Just see how it is. I've heard really good things about Hush Hush, so I'm excited to read them. I don't know why it's been sitting on my TBR for so long, but I do hope to read that soon. Next up, I have My Fault. This is a YA romance, which I didn't know it was YA when I bought it. I thought it was older, but it is high school, but I just recently picked this up, and it also just got turned into a motion picture. So I want to read this. I think it's a duology. It might be a trilogy, but I think it's a duology. I want to read this and then watch it and see if I like it. Last up, for the 24 books I want to read in 2024, I have Set on You by Amy Lee. This is an influencer romance series, and this is book 1 of it. They're interconnected standalones, but this one's been on my TBR for, again, like 2 years, trying to get some books off my TBR that have been on for so long. So definitely anticipating this one, hoping to read this one soon, so I can also read X's and O's, which is book 2 of this series, for Valentine's Day. So if I could get this done in January, which I don't see happening, but we're gonna try. Maybe I'll do it in February. Maybe I'll do this one and X's in February. But yeah. So that is 24 books I want to read in 2024. Feel free to drop comments of 20 or a couple books on your 2024 that you want to read, or any book in 2024 that you want to read. Maybe I'll add them to mine. My TBR is forever growing, and I love getting recommendations from you guys. So definitely like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time in 2024.